Good morning, everyone. Not too bad of a start this morning, picking up more of that southerly flow, all of that Gulf moisture going straight up into near the Nebraska region, sending a bit for their severe weather threat heading into later today. And that moisture flow is going to continue really into the big country and the Concho Valley, helping give a little bit more of that moisture flow. Definitely a little bit of a breezy start to our morning with that dry line well off into the west with those drier conditions down into near southeast New Mexico, especially out into near Van Horn. 58 degrees drier conditions with more 62 out into Carlsbad, 68 in Midland, as well as 65 down into Big Lake with more of those mid to upper 60s across the big country and the Concho Valley. 65 in Sterling City, walking out the door, 64 in Brownwood, as well as 67 degrees in San Angelo. Temperatures are going to really take it up a notch today as we're going to pick up on some southerly winds into the Permian Basin. More of those mid to upper 90s area wide are going to be expected, even making a run for that triple digit along into near Pecos and Monahans. I wouldn't be too shocked if a triple digit kind of sneaked in there today with more of those mid to upper 90s along into the big country, with more of those kind of low 90s and some upper 80s along into the Concho Valley. Red flag warning is in effect for today, kind of where our dry line is going to set up, pretty much where that cutoff is, gusts near 45 to 55 miles per hour. But we're going to have that fire weather watch heading into tomorrow, Friday afternoon into the evening, and kind of the similar story where we can see that dry line is going to set up base for those gusty conditions nearly up to 40 miles an hour. With that wind advisory is also going to be into effect for southeast New Mexico for those gusty conditions between 55 to 80 miles per hour with those higher gusts along into near the Guadalupe. Let's go ahead and track that out. This is Thursday, 12 p.m. We can already see those windier conditions out into southeast New Mexico. That is going to be picking up as our dry line is going to set up base. Not too bad here into the Permian Basin, especially out into near the big country of Concho Valley. Gusts nearly up to 30 miles an hour, but more so off into the west, ranging from around 30 to 50 miles per hour, and especially along with those higher gusts along into those mountains. But the thing is, though, it is going to start getting breezy as we head into the overnight tonight, stretching even into our Friday, more so 12 p.m. And this is when I think a little bit more calmer conditions for the big country of Concho Valley, but more of those windier conditions off into the basin, those where that fire weather watch is in effect. But as that dry line moves, I think we can definitely see some areas of blowing dust heading into tomorrow as well, especially stretching more into the Permian Basin, depending how the winds really want to get their act together with that southwesterly to that westerly flow. But as that dry line moves off into the east, that's going to help set up for that severe weather threat for the big country of Concho Valley. The highest threat is into the yellow with those black dashed, meaning hail zones up to 2 inches could be possible, with up into the green area into the eastern portions of the basin, hell up to 1 inch with those gusts nearly up to 60 miles per hour. And I think heading into Saturday, I think it's going to be more of that hail and wind threat as well is going to be onto the table. Here's kind of how it sets up. I think we could have multiple rounds of rain into the big country and Concho Valley heading into Saturday, but more so setting into Saturday night, we're going to have a little bit more of those isolated thunderstorms that's going to really start setting up base, and even a little bit possible into the Permian Basin. But I think that's going to be fully dependent on where that dry line is going to set up. I think if it's dry line, it's going to be a little bit more off into the east. I think we're not going to get anything into the Permian Basin. But if it is a little bit more west, then I think we'll get a little bit of showers as we are under that general thunderstorm risk. But for the big country of Concho Valley, we're going to have a cold front starting to get its act together. I think it's going to be more of a wind threat with that line of storms that's going to pass through. But really, as we head into more so Easter evening and Easter afternoon into the evening times, I think it is going to be relatively clear, and it is going to be a nice day. So we still have that weather impact alert that's going to be in effect heading into Friday night into Saturday. But really, once we head into about Easter afternoon into the evening times, I think for the most part, it relatively is going to be okay, and it is going to set up to be a pleasant day. But we're going to warm back up until Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday into the 80s. We'll be back after the break.